Hey everyone, this is PM Sport Talk, the father and son duo podcast. I'm your host Preston, alongside my father Mike and Dad. How are we doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great. What a crazy weekend of football. I cannot wait to get into it.
Let's get right into it. Let's go ahead and preview to start off our show. Tonight's big game. It will determine this year's national champion between the Miami Hurricanes and the Indiana Hoosiers.
Yeah, I've been waiting a week and a half now for this game. Finally is here. The Monday after NFL playoffs, which kind of gets hidden a little bit with the NFL playoffs, but here it is anyway. Can't wait for this matchup. Very interesting. Indiana 15-0. Been pretty much rolling everybody lately, and makes you wonder, are the Miami Hurricanes going to be able to stop this train that's coming at them? And I say they can. Loaded with NFL talent. They're on a mission themselves, trying to prove everybody wrong, that they didn't belong in the playoff and all this stuff. And I think I think this is going to be a close one. I think Indiana's going to get tested. I'm pulling for Miami. I'm not really sure which way to go, but I'm going to say Miami wins it. But Indiana, they're tough. Mendoza, Heisman Trophy winner. They're the betting favorite, but there's something about this Miami team. If they can run the football and control the game, I like their chances. That's the key for them. They cannot get into a shootout with this team, I don't think. Indiana likes to, when they get on a roll, they just kind of like snowballs and they take over the game. So if Miami can run the ball, limit possessions, and get Fletcher going, and the quarterback Beck, Carson Beck, boy, I drew a blank on that one. If he does not make a crucial mistake, I like Miami's chances.
I'm right with you. This game is going to not be an Indiana steamroll, I would think. The factor I like to factor in here is Ruben Bain, that entire great Miami defensive line. They had a great game against Ohio State. Last week they were quiet. They can't be quiet here. I'm sure they know that. And especially, I believe it's either Keontae Scott or Jacoby Thomas. I think it's Keontae Scott. They will be without him for the first half because he got a targeting penalty in the Ole Miss game. So that secondary is going to be losing a very key piece for the first half. So that's where I say defensive line has to hold it down, not just for the first half while Keontae Scott is out, but for the entire game. They need to get pressure. Easier said than done, though. Indiana does very well up front, but I'm going to be honest, looking at Oregon, looking at Alabama, they haven't seen a defense like Miami's, I will say. So I think Indiana definitely keeps their success going. They're going to play good in this game, but what I will say is so is Miami, and don't expect a blowout. I'm going to roll with Indiana, I think, to win this one, but I think it's going to be very close.
Yeah, that's key to those two pass rushers, NFL pass rushers, have to get pressure. Mendoza's got kind of a quick release, so that's going to be interesting. He gets rid of the ball pretty quick, so if those guys can get there, that's a key.
Right, because he's been very comfortable in these games. The Oregon, Alabama, they have struggled against this offensive line.
Right,
and we saw in the Big Ten championship when they faced a pass rush like Ohio State, points were at a premium. Because Mendoza had pressure, and like you said, that quick release. He always has a guy, seemingly, that he can find. Defense just got to keep everything in front of them. Don't let anybody get between you and the end zone. So,
yeah. Like you said about Keontae Scott, that rule, I hate that rule.
Oh no, it needs to be changed. 100%.
You threw him out for the last game. Why does he have to sit out part of this game? Come on, that's so stupid.
Yeah, so targeting, I think we're starting to see here with this targeting rule, the problems with it. It's been a rule for a while, but that part of the rule is absolutely dumb and needs to go. That you need to sit out for an entire half. And I honestly think there should be 2 penalties because if you targeting is weird. You have to have launch, force, helmet to helmet. Meanwhile, if it's just like running into each other, helmet to helmet, doesn't get called. That's another problem with the rule. But the main one is the ejection process. Because if you get ejected, let's say in the first quarter for targeting, there you go. You're out for not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, 6 quarters.
Yeah, it's stupid. And it could really affect this game. I mean, that's a key player.
It's not just us saying this too. Nick Saban is a main guy who is trying to preach that should be taken out of the rule.
Yeah, throw them out for the game they're in. That's the game where it occurred. Don't penalize the team for the next game. It makes no sense. I understand I'm trying to get rid of that dangerous play out of the football, but you can't carry it over to
ejecting
the next
them from a game is enough.
Yes, plenty.
It's just overdoing it when you carry it on to another separate game.
Yeah, so hopefully that we'll see if that has an effect on this game. It could very well. He's a key player.
Yeah, and like you said, when you get into that first half and you're entering the game in the second half, I think a key thing is you kind of have no feel for how the game is going, the physicality. I mean, you're watching, but you're not actually out there playing.
Yeah, so you have to get used to the game. So he's basically, that third quarter, you can almost cancel that too. He's basically out there for a quarter where he's got the feel of the game. So, yeah, I mean, nothing we can do about it today, but I sure hope they do change that aspect of it.
Absolutely. So that's going to be hopefully a good national championship. I'd really like a good game that's not a blowout. So we'll see. I think Miami can definitely keep it close, though. I don't really see the probability of this being a steamroll. So now we go over to our NFL scores, where we had the divisional round of the playoffs, and we will preview the AFC and NFC championships later on. But let's go ahead and see how we got to where we are as of today. Started off the divisional round with the Bills and Broncos on Saturday. And, I mean, wow, what a very classic game. Of course, it's the Buffalo Bills, and they got eliminated. Controversy is going to come hand in hand with that. Let's just start off by going over how this game went. I mean, it was close pretty much throughout the whole way. The second half, the first half was Denver controlling. Second half, the Bills stormed back. Of course, you have Josh Allen, Bo Nix, kind of that little part of the third and fourth quarter where they're kind of stalling. Nothing's really happening. And then you got the Buffalo Bills going on a drive to force overtime. And then in overtime, a couple of key things happen, and then the Broncos get the game-winning field goal. That's a summarized version. We got to break down some of the stuff that happened to get us to that point. We'll just start with the overtime period. The talk of the NFL, was it an interception by Jaquan McMillan? And to be honest with you, it's close. It is so close.
It's
nothing new, but I will add on though, because we've seen DBs get their hands in, to disrupt the ball, and when they go to the ground, they both have somewhat of possession of the ball, and then as soon as Cooks hits the ground, McMillan ends up with the ball. And we haven't seen much arguments, but it is the playoffs. It's a huge call. Me personally, the call on the field was an interception. I like how it stayed as that.
Yeah, you could not reverse that. Whatever the call was going to be on the field is what it had to stay at, because you could not tell 100% either way. I think it was an interception. A lot of people, which we'll get to later, was comparing it to the Devontae Adams one in the Bears game, which is not the same.
No.
They obviously don't know football when you say that. The ball, the ball was moving. He didn't when McMillan was grabbing at it. The ball was moving. He did not have it secured completely. That's the difference.
You got to remember the catch process. You got to have secure control of the ball, and remember, you have to survive the ground. So the fact that McMillan was able to rip the ball away as soon as the two hit the ground, that shows that he did not complete that third aspect of the catch, in my opinion.
Yeah, he didn't survive the ground. When you look at the Devontae Adams one, he still controlled the ball. They both had the control of the ball, which goes to the offense.
Tie goes to the offense, yeah.
In this case, the defender ripped it away from the offensive guy as he's going to the ground. So
right.
That's the difference.
That's what happens. The refs usually, when they go to the ground, they give it a second or two to see if one will come away with it. But if they don't, if both are still tugging at the football, right, the refs are going to call that offense gets the tie. So that will be a catch. However, though, in this case, it's different because McMillan, as soon as those two hit the ground, he had firm possession of that ball because he ripped it away. When you look at it, I really don't see the confusion. I mean, it's close, but at the same time, if you know football, you know the refs got it right. And the fact is, right, the review was so quick.
That's the problem.
That people think that the refs didn't go review it at all. I honestly, I can stand with that. I think Sheffer should have spent a lot more time at that review booth to see it over a little bit better. He could have done better than 40 seconds, if that.
Yeah, that was the whole issue. They rushed through it a little bit, and they didn't explain it.
No,
he didn't come back on the mic and say, go through the process and say that the defender took the ball away, blah, 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 whatever. However he was going to word it. That is the problem. That was the whole issue that McDermott had, was nothing was really explained, and that's why he called the timeout.
I completely agree with that. That was poor, and I don't know what it is with Carl Sheffer's crew, but they absolutely suck at explaining after reviews. We saw in the Steelers-Lions game, and now here, all turnovers are reviewed. This on the field was a turnover, so obviously by rule, they went over, reviewed it. But like you said, the problem was, one, they spent way too little of time looking at this play, and two, they never got back on the mic. Because usually, if they're just going to the initial review, if it's not close at all, and they probably won't come back on the mic. But this play was close, and that should have been under what they would call like booth review, further review, because that's when you indicate that you're going to spend more time looking over this play because it's so close. But I think even if they did that, they keep it as it is on the field. Because I will give it to them. In real time, that's an interception. That looked like an interception. When you slow it down, it's a little closer. But like you said, in our opinion, I think that's an interception.
Yeah, and like you said, the whatever the call wasn't, if they call that a catch, that's a catch. It's going to be the same thing. They're not
right.
If they're probably not spending that much time on it either. They're going to say, yeah, catch.
Catch, yeah.
I forget which game it was yesterday. The ref said whatever. I don't remember the play, but there was a play where there was a review, a quick review to overturn an expedited review. He came on the mic and said, after expedited review, the call was reversed. That's all they had to do there.
Yeah.
But he didn't do that. Like you said, Carl Sheffers, for some reason, doesn't want to get on the mic. And the head of officiating today said it was a time issue because, they need to move the game along because it's an overtime.
Well, you can't do that.
But you can't do that. That was one of their excuses, though. They're like, well, the next game's getting ready to start.
That makes you look a whole lot worse.
He said that, too. And
I would never admit that if that was the case. That's bad. That is really bad. You cannot speed up a review on a play like that
to
move the game along.
Listen, it's the NFL. people are going to wait.
Not only is
They're
it
going
the
to watch
NFL,
the next game.
this is the playoffs. You lose, you're done. Your season's over. Your Super Bowl dreams up in smokes.
Yeah.
That sort of, I can feel upset for Bills fans a little bit about that, because if that's really the case, why that review was sped up, that's complete and utter bull.
Yeah, and then the other thing is obviously, I do agree with Bills fans a little bit on this after thinking about it. During the game, I didn't so much, but there was hardly any flags in that game until the very end. So
that is true.
I get that point, but the one pass interference that was called, Bosa roughed the passer.
That's what I'm saying.
So that wiped it out. Broncos were getting up 15 yards anyway.
That there is no question about that Joey Bosa play. So let's just cut that play. I get there's a little bit of a difference between a 15-yard and a spot foul, but either way, you're getting a significant yard.
It was 3 yards different.
So
so those cancel each other out. So you cannot complain about that one. The next one was obvious pass interference, and there's a lot of people saying, well, you let that go in the play.
You don't let that go.
But that was different because it's one thing if they're both fighting for the ball, but he was ahead of the defender and he grabbed his arms so he could not.
He had his whole arms around his waist. I mean,
yeah, so it's
in
a little
the air.
different.
No, that's. I'm sorry, that needs to be called. I get what they said. You got to call it all the way out, but I mean, don't put the refs in that position. If he just waited a second or two longer, that is a great defensive play by Tre'Davious White. But the ball is still well in the air when he's making that very obvious and altering contact, and that needs to be called. Obviously, the unsportsmanlike is just out of frustration. Lutz was nailing that kick either way.
And a lot of Bills fans forget that, before all that happened, for the interception and all that other stuff, there was a holding in the end zone against Buffalo that the refs did not call.
And that would have ended the game.
That would have ended the game. It was a safety, and that would have ended the game. They didn't call. They let that go. So let's not pretend that Buffalo didn't get some calls too. It looks like Denver got all the calls, but
why it looks like they're getting all the calls is because the refs actually called it. But
the other one they didn't call, so it doesn't look like it.
You are not getting the Bills were not getting stuff called against them. Jonathan Cooper, I could probably go over and look at at least 5 plays where he could have sacked Josh Allen, and they let a clear and obvious jersey grab go. He was getting held all night long. I'm assuming Benito was, and some other guys in that Denver front seven. So let's not act like this is a one-sided affair.
I understand their frustration, but you can't blame it on the refs. Listen, you lost this game because Josh Allen turned the ball over twice with some boneheaded plays, and then he missed a wide open Dawson Knox or Kincaid. I forget which one.
It was Knox, yeah.
It was
I know
Knox,
what play you're talking about.
Wide open near like 10-yard.
That's the game. That's 10 seconds left in the fourth quarter. You're going up.
He missed him by a lot, too.
That was not, yeah.
And he was wide open.
And on that play, Jonathan Cooper was held as well.
Yes.
We both called out holding before that ball was let go.
So they were letting a lot of stuff go. So both ways. So we all want to blame officiating. And I've heard a lot of Bills guys I work with today, Bills fans, all say, "Oh, that game was rigged." And I said to them, "Do you really think the NFL wants the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl and not Josh Allen? The NFL would kill to have Josh Allen in the Super Bowl. They don't want some no-name quarterback on a team in the Super Bowl. They want superstars, and Josh Allen is the only real superstar left. And would have been, and that's what they wanted. That would have been a huge storyline going in the next weekend's championship games. And you're trying to tell me the NFL is rigged against the Bills because they want the Denver Broncos? Give me a break.
I'm sorry.
If anything, they would have rigged it the other way if it was rigged. It's not rigged. You can't rig those plays. Come on. That's just people that say that are just it's the new thing now. it's rigged. It's rigged. It's rigged. It's not rigged. That drives me nuts. You cannot rig football. I don't care what. You just can't. You can't script football.
It's such a cope. There's no way they actually believe in their mind that it's rigged. But
the NFL would have killed to have Josh Allen in the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl. That storyline alone would have carried the Super Bowl. Would have carried that 2 weeks waiting up to the Super Bowl would have carried it all. That would have been that would have been the storyline.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wouldn't have been Seattle. It wouldn't have been the Rams.
They're not rigging it for Denver. Give me a break.
So,
we don't need a. Yeah.
Did they want Jared Stidham in the Super Bowl?
Well, nobody knew that.
Nobody knew that then, but still, they didn't want Denver. I mean, if they wanted somebody, they want a superstar. That's what they would want in the game. So I don't want to hear any more rigged stuff from people that's saying that. That's just beyond stupid.
Yeah, it is. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. In the past, all those games against the Chiefs, Josh Allen showed up. He played a good game.
He did.
But in this game, let's cut out the media. Oh, Josh Allen loses another one. The refs have saved the Broncos from Josh Allen. No. At the end of the first half, that is the most ridiculous play I've ever seen a quarterback make. So reckless, running with the football, holding it like a loaf of bread, and then it didn't even look like they punched out. Look, he just chucked the ball. Nothing was going to happen on that play. Nothing. You have 9 seconds left, no timeouts.
Nothing happened.
And I'm not even sure why they're throwing the ball in the first place.
I think that play right there is one of the reasons McDermott got fired today. I said at the time, you weren't there. I was saying it to your friend Lemire there. I was saying to him, what are they doing? Why aren't they just putting a knee on the ground and going into halftime?
No, yeah.
This was before that happened, and then that happened, and we both look at each other like, why are they running plays there?
There's two things. There are two plays that should have been ran there. One, the obvious one, you take a knee. Two, just give the ball up the middle to James Cook.
If he breaks one, great. But
because no team with 16 seconds left at their own 30 and no timeouts is putting the ball in the hands of their quarterback. I don't care if you had Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Jesus Christ out there playing quarterback. No, you don't.
It's just dumb.
No. That's a no. That is a no. When you put the ball in the hands of your quarterback, no timeouts, barely any time left. No, and you just can't do that. Josh Allen used his legs, put the ball on the ground. 2 seconds left. Lutz nails the field goal. They go up by 2 scores.
Yeah, it's just
that is.
Can't defend.
That's a rookie Josh Allen play right there too. That's and that interception he threw, the interception where Bo Nix threw a pick, and then Josh Allen 2 plays later throws a pick right back. That was a bad throw by Josh Allen. He was trying to force a big play downfield. The safety had eyes on him the entire play, undercut it, and he was forcing it.
Yeah, he was forcing it. He was trying to do too much, and it backfired. Like I said, he was very, very reckless.
He had a total of 4 turnovers in this game. I will say 2 of them are not really his fault. The one where he got blasted by Bonito, that he can't do anything about that really. And then the Brandon Cooks play obviously
wasn't his fault.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then there are a bunch of news that came out of this game right after the game. Bo Nix breaks his ankle. So now against New England, which we'll get into that game in a second, it will be Jarrett Stidham versus Drake May to go to the Super Bowl. And my heart kills for these Broncos fans. I mean, they've waited so long for this rebuild to get back to winning football, and that is an absolute major blow. I will give them a little bit of I mean, we've seen it before. I mean, anything can happen. Obviously, you would rather have number 10 playing out there, but Jarrett Stidham, the backup, I mean, he is going to go through a lot of prep this week, I imagine. Sean Payton's going to have him working tirelessly. Obviously, everyone's going to favor New England, but just remember, your defense is really good. You got the home crowd. You take that.
Yeah, and we'll get into it a little bit here, but Drake May is a fumbling machine. So, and that defense causes fumbles. So
Drake May.
Anything can happen.
Drake May does not play good. I have not seen him play a good game against a really good defense. That Texans game, not good. Not good. He got lucky because C.J. Stroud put up a dud.
Yep.
And but the Broncos, they need to play defense here. And Jarrett Stidham, just make good plays. You don't got to be a superhero. You don't got to be, because obviously the world's against you. Don't try to prove too many people wrong. Just make the right plays. If he doesn't turn the ball over and the Broncos are able to slowly move down the field, the defense plays good, you have a ball game against New England.
I think this game will surprise people.
I think it will. Yeah, and he's been in the system for a couple years, so he knows.
Mm-hmm.
So he's probably been ready. So because Bo Nix, I mean, he's a runner, so there is good chances he will run into a lot of these injuries in the future. So it's unfortunate. I wish they had their quarterback for this game, but we'll see what happens here. 49ers and Seahawks.
Not much here.
Not much here. It was over on literally the first kickoff. So
yeah,
just absolute dominance from the Seattle team. And looking at it, they look like they're going to be really hard to stop in these playoffs.
Yeah, it was down. Like I said, opening kickoff all the way for Shaheed and 7-0, and that place was rocking. And the 49ers, I'm surprised they got this far, actually, with all the injuries they have. And with all the injuries, they just could not. And they had a bunch of guys get hurt in this game besides, and they didn't really have a chance.
Yeah, I will say though, I don't feel bad for these guys at all. The post game interviews, they're right. Trent Williams said that they were playing with like literally nobody. That's the only reason they lost. And very quickly becoming my least favorite player in the league, Diamador Lenore, the corner for Niners. He literally said that's the only reason they lost this game.
Yeah, well, that's just dumb, man.
I mean, he is always running his mouth about Njigba and stuff, and just trying to. It makes me hard to like guys like that. If you are trying to put yourself out there and just talk trash and be a baby to the media, and then you go out there and you don't do anything.
Why don't you just, you got your butts handed to you. Why don't you just go out there and say, hey, listen, they beat us. They just beat in every aspect. They beat us, and just leave it at that. You start talking like that, you sound like you're making excuses and all this stuff. And the Seahawks just beat you a few weeks ago too, and they dominated you then too. So
yeah,
they're better than you.
Mm-hmm.
They just are. And I know even with the injuries, I think they're better than you. So
yeah,
the 49ers, they're a little bit like New England. They had a very easy schedule too. I'm not saying they're not decent, but their offense, of course, is good. But that defense, I don't think they were going to win anyway. So
yeah. So like you said, not much to talk about here. We'll move on to the next game. That would be New England and Houston, where just an absolute embarrassing performance from the Houston Texans starting quarterback C.J. Stroud. 4 first-half picks, and I'd say 3 of them were some of the most horrible decisions, passes ever.
And
yeah. Well, jeez. It was, there's not much to say. I mean, after the 4th pick, we're kind of all sitting there like, if Davis Mills was healthy, I'd pull him in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Was he healthy?
I don't think so. I think that is why.
I would have, yeah. He was, if you were watching that game, not just the interceptions, more than half of his throws were like way off. The receivers had to like stop and contort their bodies for these simple throws. And one of their guys got their
Cade Stover tore his ACL. Pretty much.
Because Stroud couldn't throw a 10-yard pass in the flat there, basically a screen
It
pass.
was literally a flat. He runs up, turns around. The ball's like over here, and his foot gets stuck in the ground, and there goes his knee.
Yeah, because he couldn't make a simple pass. I'd be livid if I was him. I'd be like, "What are you doing to me?" But he's really regressed. He played. I mean, they beat the Steelers, but he played horrible. If the Steelers had any offense at all, they could have beat the Texans. Stroud was horrible in that game too. So, I'd be really worried about him going forward. But as far as right now, yeah, and that game, their defense played great, in my opinion.
They did. They got turnovers. They did their job.
The only problem was I don't know how many strip sacks they had of Drake May, but they couldn't get the ball. The Patriots kept falling on the ball. They were so unlucky that Will Anderson a couple times stripped him, and then when he went to get the ball, he couldn't get it. It's right out of his hands, and the Patriots were able to get it. A couple of those go the other way, like you normally would think. That could be a totally different game. So that's why I say don't go crazy on the Patriots just yet.
This was not Drake May should have had a lot more fumbles lost.
Yeah.
This Houston defense, and it's just you could be the best defense in the world, but when you're always on the field, it's a struggle.
That's what happened that last half of the game, half of the fourth quarter there. They were just gassed. And then when the Patriots started running the ball, you could tell. I mean, they didn't have anything left.
Mm-hmm.
So, because the first three quarters of that game, they were all over the Patriots.
Yeah.
So, it was really the Patriots' defense against Stroud and Stroud's poor performance that was the story of that game.
100%. And yeah, it's just unfortunate because if Houston had a little bit of offense, they'd be in this game. So they might be heading to Denver this week. So, but New England gets it done, and they will be playing for an AFC chip. And then our final game, which concluded the divisional round, Rams and Bears. This game was an absolute great ending. I mean, let's just get right into it. 4th down and 4. Caleb Williams is running like 20, 30 yards back because he's in trouble. Just throws it up for grabs, and somehow it is perfectly placed into Cole Kmet's hands.
Yeah.
I don't mean to overreact, but that has got to be one of the best throws in NFL history. The situation, the down, the play itself.
Yeah, the weather, everything.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's and what's sad about it is because they lost the game, that play is gonna get lost now, because the significance of it is not much now, but yeah, that's one of the best plays you're ever gonna see. Just crazy. He's been making plays he made a great play last week, and then he seems like every week he has another one of these plays that tops the one from the week before.
Right.
And he's phenomenal. And it's just too bad in overtime he gets too greedy and tries to make another long throw that he didn't need to make at the time, and ended up costing him.
Once you get that turnover, I think we all had that feeling there you go. Stafford's going to march right down this field, and that's exactly what he did. Mevis made the kick.
Because it was all set up for the Bears in overtime.
That 4th down they converted, I thought for sure they were just going to keep going. Santos was going to get in range. Bears go to the NFC Championship. Instead, pick thrown. Stafford marches down the field. Mevis makes the kick. Rams are playing Seattle.
That's the problem with Williams. Only second-year player. Obviously,
I'm not worried about him.
I'm not worried about
that. But there you go. The recklessness.
He's a little reckless, but he's only second year.
I will say it's a lot better than last year, though. So
he'll learn from that, obviously, but he has all the makings to be a superstar. I mean,
yeah.
He already is, but man, it's just too bad that play now is not.
It's going to get lost, like you said, yeah. It was a great play, but with that exciting divisional round. We'll head now into plays of the week. Coming from Bills and Broncos for our first play of the week. It's 3rd and 10 in overtime. Allen looking. Allen gonna launch one downfield for Cooks. This one caught. No! Intercepted by Jaquan McMillan.
What a play. Controversial, but what a play.
Coming from Niners and Seahawks, the opening kick from the NFC Divisional round. Rashid Shaheed has a returnable ball. He is dangerous, and he's showing it here. Shaheed, past Pinheiro, down the sideline. It's a Shaheed quake in Seattle. Touchdown.
What a way to start the game. Unbelievable. That place was on fire.
And yes, the flag was on the Niners for tripping.
Yep.
If you couldn't tell. Coming from Texans and Patriots, Stroud with the fake to Chubb. Stroud gets hit as he throws, intercepted. Marcus Jones down the sideline. Hutchinson tackles him into the end zone. Pick 6, Patriots.
What a play from Jones. This was a game-changing play. All the momentum was with Houston. I have no idea what CJ Stroud was doing there. Don't throw the ball there. But he did.
Jones made him pay. Coming from Patriots and Texans again. May looking down the sideline, going for a booty. One hand, snagged, touchdown, New England.
What a catch. Unbelievable. You knew with a catch like that, that was probably going to be all she wrote.
The dagger over one of the best corners in the league, Derek Stingley.
That's the biggest, even more shocking part of it. He doesn't give up plays like that. He actually had good coverage.
How shocking. College basketball makes the plays of the week for the first time of the year. Malachi Moreno at the buzzer. Good for the win. The Wildcats may have saved their season.
Wow, what a play. That's crazy.
You rarely see those full court heaves work like that. Did this time.
That, long before your day, is reminiscent of the Leitner play. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about. I've seen clips of that.
It's so eerie. That was against Kentucky.
And you had to know this would top off our plays of the week if you saw it. 4th and 4. Caleb Williams and the Bears down to their last gasp. Williams under pressure, dropping back, fade away, prayer, heave is answered. Cole Kmet, touchdown.
Unbelievable. He ended up throwing that ball 51 yards.
That might be not the play of the week, not the play of the month, the play of the season, the play of the year.
Yeah, it's up there. Man, that was unbelievable. McVay cannot believe that. And you just thought that was going to do it right there.
That we thought was the turning point. No way Chicago loses after that, right? Well, Dad, that's the end of today's episode, but there are a few things we do before we sign off. Who's your top performer and biggest disappointer?
My top performer, yeah, I think I'm going to go with, man, there's quite a few choices here, but well, let me go with my biggest disappointment first. Let me think about the top performer. Biggest disappointment, I'm going to go with, I am going to go with CJ Stroud. He's probably the number one worst performer of the weekend. I don't think I need to explain that one. And top performer, I'm going to give it to, man, that's a tough one. I guess I'm going to go with Bo Nix. He played a really good game in Denver. It's too bad he got hurt, but when he needed to make plays there at the end, he did, and I'm going to give it to him.
Jeez, you took both of my picks.
Oh,
That's crazy. We'll go with my biggest disappointment. I'm going Josh Allen, folks. I'm sorry, but this game was not entirely on the refs. Those boneheaded turnovers.
Yeah,
Rookie Josh Allen came out
he did.
in the top year where everyone thought this was his year to win the Super Bowl. So there's your biggest disappointment. And your top performer from me, this is a tough one, but who do I give this to, man? There's so
You know why it's so tough? Because there wasn't a lot of great individual top performers, right? There was a lot. It was all team play.
I think I'm gonna give it to Kenneth Walker from Seattle.
That's a good one. Yeah.
145 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. It was great to see him shine because usually it's him and Charbonnet splitting. If not, Charbonnet gets more. But that was a great game from number 9 to Seattle. And we've already made our predictions for the Natty. Who do you have going to the Super Bowl?
Logic would say Patriots, but I'm going to go with Denver. I'm going to say that Sean Payton, great coach, comes up with a game plan. I'm going to say they squeak it out in the AFC. So I'm going to go Denver. And I'm going Rams. I think the Rams, I think Stafford, that coaching, I think Darnold in a big game scares me a little bit. So I'm going to go Denver against the Rams.
Good picks. Surprise! I'm right with you on Denver. I think they shock the world at home without Bo Nix. They got something to play for. That defense is going to give May problems. And I don't know if I see Drake May, if the Broncos offense is able to do just enough, be able to get over this great defense, because we haven't seen him play great against some good defenses. So we'll see what happens there. And I think you're going to get a Peyton Manning-Russell Wilson rematch. I got the Seattle Seahawks at home taking down the Los Angeles Rams in round 3, and you're going to have a number 1 seed Super Bowl.
Yeah, I like it. It's quite possible.
So with that being said, that will end today's episode. Once again, I'm Preston. That's my father, Mike. Have a good week. Enjoy your football, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.